Yo, this is a quick little work trade. I'm at work, about to have my lunch, right? But I had gone over the trade from, at least today's trade, right? It mainly resembled of the recent from Sunday, right? Why did I take the trade? Because of mainly what I was looking at this, right? Mainly this. We had this impulse within the range, right? You have your bottom of the range, you have your top of the range. The top of the range leads to the bottom of the range. The bottom of the range leads to the top of the range. You can see we had already bullish. We had a bullish break of structure. I had already talked about all this in my previous video. The previous video, it was when the market was closed. I believe it was on Saturday, and price was around here, right? Sunday it opened and it came back to test the impulse within the range that I had talked about. And look, we instantly had the reaction, but price failed to keep on breaking lows. It respected this previous supply right here, and now that's still strong. Now that's liquidity above for us to come clear, and now that leads me up to today's trade, which we hop to the 5-minute. You can see on the 5-minute we have a 5-minute top of the range and we have a 5-minute bottom of the range. So boom, similar setup to on the 1 hour, but this is on the 5-minute. Price had an impulse within the range, right? Because it broke these highs and it had an impulse to the upside. Tested these highs, creating more liquidity on top, faking people that now this is a resistance when it's not. Fake came back, tested the impulse within the range perfectly, and this is where I got in. The price literally flew to the first target, which was 30 pips. I secured and set stop loss at break even, which obviously update on the $100 account. We'll look at the trade today, which was this one. The only mistake was not popping a bigger lot size. I popped to 0.06, I believe. I needed to pop at least a 0.9 or a 0.12 because the stop loss was only like 13 pips, 17 pips. It was a great stop loss. It was a great trade, and it kept on running even more. But I only secured 32 pips, and it kept on running 60 pips, and then it came back to hit stop loss. At break even, of course. But the $100 account is $20, $22, 22%. $100,000, that would be $22,000. $1 million account, that would be $220,000. It's all freaking percentages, right? The money doesn't even matter. The money will come eventually. The skill, it's what matters. Peace and love. We'll go over more trades and more markup later on. Probably record a drive talk maybe, or a workout later for sure. Now I'll get back to my lunch.
The players of Chicago Bulls, and reached out to all of them with the exception of, yeah, that's exactly what I did. So this is going back into the mid-'80s. Remember, no emails. If you had a cell phone, you had one of the big ones with a backpack on it that weighed about 50 pounds. Everybody in this room is too young to know what I'm talking about. That. So the only way you could contact somebody was literally if you had their home phone number or through the post office. You send them a letter. So I was like, okay, there's a small article in the newspaper that said how Michael was tired of taking the physical abuse from the Detroit Pistons and he's looking to get stronger. I'm like, I was working at a local health club back then with a master's degree, making $3.35 an hour. Yes, with a master's degree, that was the minimum wage back then, folks. I said, I'm not going to be able to get to Mike. I said, no, he's one of the best players already in the NBA, if not the best. He's not going to work with somebody that's never worked with a professional athlete. I said, you know what? If I can show results to somebody else, then he may see it, and the door might get slightly cracked where I can work my way in. 15 players on an NBA team. I wrote 14 letters. That's two. I wrote a letter to everybody except Michael Jordan. And back then, you stick the letters in the mailbox, you put their name on it, you send it to the practice facility. It's fan mail, so they get thrown into the players' lockers. If they decide to read it, they receive it. If they don't, they throw it out. Well, obviously, one of those letters made it there. It was sitting in somebody else's locker, and Michael went into the locker and saw it and pulled it out and read it and gave it to the athletic trainer and the team physician at that time and said, hey, contact this individual to see what he's about. So I get a call from the athletic trainer during that time and the team physician, and they said, hey, somebody found one of your letters and they're interested in your services. I said, okay. So for 3 months, we went back and forth, just like they wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. I actually attended class and just didn't go through college. Did degrees in biology. They tested my knowledge on biology, biomechanics, physiology, everything. And 3 months afterwards, they said, okay, we want you to meet this client. I still had no idea who they were talking about. So they gave me an address, and they said, all right, meet this person at this address. I think it was either 12:30 or 1:30. So I go over there. This was before the gated house. You could just kind of go in there, ring the doorbell. I rang the doorbell. No answer. Rang it again. No answer. Rang it a third time. Michael Jordan opens up the door. Right? And I'm not a starstruck person. One of the caveats in this story is the best of the best are the most coachable. They're always looking to get better. They're always looking for that less than that 1% edge. So it didn't surprise me after I got to know him that he was the only one that actually was like, hey, let me see what this is about. So he invited me into the house. I sat down with him, talked for about 45 minutes, Okay, he told me, I said, well, what do you want to do with it? He's like, I need to get bigger, I need to get stronger, I need to get all these different things. And I sat there and I just told him, I said, well, that's not the way to go about this. He just kind of looked at me. And I I'm going to challenge you. He'll say, I don't want to do this. And he'll say, no, this is why you need to do this. You need to do this exercise. This is why you need to eat this. This is why you need to have different sleep patterns. So, and that was perfect for Kobe's mentality. They want somebody to have the same winning edge. They want to have the same winning mentality. They want to have somebody who's, and I say this in the book, the reason I got along with my clients so well, even my business clients, my professional clients, whoever it may be, is everyone always says, find somebody who's the opposite of you. Find somebody who's the opposite, to balance you out. I disagree with that. Find somebody who's just as fucked up as you are. And then I was just as obsessed, just as messed up in the head about winning as they were. As much as they paid attention to their details and everything in their game, the way they dressed, their product lines, everything. I paid that much attention into their training stuff. I was the original fit guy. I used to count, I used to go back. There's a machine called a Betamax. Old VHS when you're stuck in tapes. I would record all the games after the basketball game. I would go home. I would really rewatch the game. I would count all the steps, see which way they went left, which way they went right, how high they jumped, which leg did they land on. And that was to prepare me for the workout the next day, because if I didn't have that information, I couldn't plan the workout to the best of the ability to create winning over and over again for these individuals, because I didn't have that information that I needed. So being obsessed in those details allowed me to be where I am, to separate myself from everybody else. And that's the difference between what we talked about, having a mindset and having a winning mindset. The winning mindset, you have defined things that you must achieve, that you must do to get to that end result.
And for a lot of people listening to the podcast, a lot of business leaders, when you say find somebody as fucked up as you are, I know that sometimes that extends to a spouse or partner, it extends to other members of the leadership team and so on. I almost feel privileged in the sense that the woman that I married has never asked me to do less, has never given me a hard time for working on all those different things, because I know how much more difficult it would have been in those moments. What are your thoughts on that in terms of what two people surround themselves with as it relates to them?
Oh, it's so important. Listen, if you can find somebody who's as supportive, as obsessive, as in your goals as you are, keep that person. In the book, we talk about being selfish. I said, if you can find individuals around you that will be selfish, and this is very important, that will be selfish, that will understand this individual is trying to achieve this. This is what they're going after. And those individuals hold you accountable just as much as you would hold yourself accountable. So they tell you, hey, when you're slacking off, they even tell you when you're doing too much. Hey, they don't tell you to slow down. They just tell you, is the speed you're taking the necessary speed to get this thing done? They don't judge you, right? Because you're constantly producing the end result over and over again, but your wins become their wins also. So if you're willing for somebody else to be selfish for you, they have to be some part of your wins. If you ask somebody, hey, listen, I need 3 months, you better deliver in those 3 months. And that win that you deliver in those 3 months, it better be your win and their win, and the rest of those people's wins. And if you tell somebody, hey, I need a year, they'll give you that year, right? But in that year's time, you can't ask for another 5 and have produced nothing. And that's the difference between having those individuals that are selfish for you, having those individuals in your life that understand why you may ask for them, hey, listen, right now I need you to put your life on hold. Right? But you put your, it could be one of your closest, it could be one of your closest friends. You should have made that decision a long time ago, but that's when your feelings are stronger than your mind. Your mind has to be stronger than the feelings, because that's what the dark side requires you to do. That's what winning requires. It requires you to make decisions, not suggestions. And when you make decisions, you have to answer the hard questions. These days, people aren't willing to make decisions. They want others to make decisions. They want others to make decisions for them, because when others make decisions for you, you always have an option. You can blame that person. You can blame that individual. You can blame whatever happens. It's not for everyone. It's extremely intense. It's extremely intense. If you're looking for balance, this is not balance, all-around balance, year-round, every day. This is not the way to do it. But I'm telling you, this is what the most successful individuals in any forms of life, they all go through this. Not just once, numerous times. It's not pretty. It's not nice to talk about. It is controversial. But I'm telling you the truth. Everyone will talk to you about you need more balance in your life. Well, that's after they've had years and years of unbalance, because now it's a good thing for them to talk about that, but they don't want to talk about what it took for them, how many years they were unbalanced to get to what they consider balance is now. It's not a good word to say, oh, you know what, I forgot about an anniversary, I forgot about a birthday, I forgot Sweetest Day, I forgot Valentine's Day, I forgot an anniversary, I missed a child's event. Those aren't things that people like to admit, but we've all done it.
Balance is earned.
It's earned. It's earned the way you want to earn it. It's yours. You don't find balance, you create it. And your definition of balance may be completely different than my definition of balance. Like everybody else is telling you. It's a question you get all the time. I need to find more balance in my life. I can't tell you that. You need to figure it out. And when you get closer to balance, what happens is when somebody always tells you, they give you the answer of how do I get more balance, and everybody wants to add stuff. And you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Now, you have more things to juggle and you become even more unbalanced. How do you get closer to balance? You got to eliminate the unessentials. What I said? You got to eliminate habits. You got to eliminate mindsets. You got to eliminate thoughts. You got to eliminate relationships. You got to eliminate friends. You got to eliminate the unessentials. And it's so much harder for us to delete than it is for us to add. We have, I'm sure everybody in the here probably have over 1,000 contacts in their phone. I have 200. When I switched phones, they were like, you want to transfer your contacts? I said, no. I said, I'm going to individually put the contacts that I needed. Because I looked at, don't need it, don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. Don't need it. But we got individuals that can't get rid of stuff in their closet. If you can't get rid of stuff in your closet, how the hell are you going to be able to delete something out of your life that you know you need to get rid of?
So I know there's going to be people that read the book, and I know you didn't write it to win a popularity contest. They read the book or listen to the podcast, and they're going to disagree with it. They're going to say, I don't believe that that's true. I don't believe I should have to give up these things. I believe I can have it all. I can have this balance. I'm curious, was there a time that you believed it too, and were there some events that kind of shaped the belief that you have today of basically saying this is how it is?
Watching my parents do what they had to do, watching individuals, everybody that's ever watched a superstar basketball player, one of the things they strive for is to be able to play on Christmas Day. That's like when you know your team is playing on Christmas Day, you've made it. How many Christmases does Michael have to play on? Almost every single one. Were they all at home? No. Kobe, LeBron, D-Wade. You just go to these individuals over and over again. That's what I try to tell you. You can't say, hey, I want to be at that level, and then say, I'm not going to do this. That's the price that winning forces you to pay. It just does. And remember, you just don't travel on Christmas Day. So you're not there the day before, you're not there the day after. Stand up as a different individual. I just don't know if he's standing up as a different individual anymore.
There's a chapter where you talk about, the price of winning and this idea of balance. It's interesting. I know you give a lot of examples and a lot of the athletes and the entrepreneurs you work with, but you were right there with them also making a lot of these sacrifices. And in particular, one of the stories you tell was the one with your daughter. And if you're open to sharing it, I mean, me reading, I have 2 young girls, so I'm reading this stuff. I imagine it's not an easy story to tell.
It's not. It's still difficult now. Everybody's had to make this decision. I mean, I'm sitting there. For my work, I travel constantly, because my clients require me to be in certain places. I got to go. That's a commitment I made for myself. It's a commitment I made to them. It's a commitment I made to winning. I pack my own stuff. My daughter walks in, and she goes, Daddy, why do you travel so much? And I said, honey, this is how, I take care of you. This is how I take care of Mom. This is how I put food on the table. And she goes, Dad, if I eat less, you stay home. The Hollywood ending, everybody would unpack my bag. I would have stayed. We'd have gone out for ice cream. Kept packing. Those are the decisions that winning requires you to make. Not the easy ones. Anybody can make the easy ones. That's why everybody doesn't win. Because those are the decisions winning is going to test you with. And later on, I had that conversation with her. And I thought I had done things wrong in her eyes. Find out that before I could even finish the conversation, she was, Dad, I understand. You set an example for me to go after what's important to you. And if you didn't, she goes, I would have felt bad. Because of those decisions you made, I've benefited so much more now. So that's why I said, if you're going to make those hard decisions, you're going to do those things. You have to go get those wins. There's so many individuals that go out there, they don't get those wins because it takes a different mindset. It requires you to be different. Winning requires you to be different, and different scares people. Like, a lot of people are scared to make that decision. After all these years, it still affects me now. But you're never going to have what that win means to you if you don't have the ability to make the unpopular decisions.
And there's going to be people who hear stories like this, they'll read the book, and they'll hear about these sacrifices and say, well, why would I ever want to win then? I'm not willing to do things like this. I would never do that. What do you think they're missing out on?
The way Kobe Bryant described winning, he said winning is everything. We have a chance to win every single day. Every single day there are wins around us. A lot of us can't even see them. You miss out on opportunities when you don't talk to individuals, when you don't look at individuals in the eye, when you don't acknowledge an individual. There's wins around us every single day, but you have to go get them. Yeah, you have to go get them. First, you have to be able to see them. First, you have to be able to acknowledge them. Winning gives you a feeling that you just can't describe. You watch your favorite sports team, or you watch your favorite performer, or we watch all these awards for actors, actresses, business people, sports people, and why not have that feeling for yourself? Yeah, it may not be in the sports industry. How about being your own cheerleader and putting that same effort into something?
I got in time.
Kai apparently is suing her, says.
Yo. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me lower the video. Good night, by the way.
Listen, man.
This is a little video after
it is what it is.
After the workout. I didn't record a drive dog today, but we're still gonna go over today's trade. Actually, I did go over it today in the morning I just posted that before. That's gonna be actually the first. So you guys already know what I'm talking about. But the first trade and only trade today was GJ, right? And that was on the. I have not bought in an account yet, a 50K account yet, since the last one I lost. The only one I've lost, the only one that I took, and the only one I've lost this year so far. And I'm planning on buying one this week when I get paid on Thursday. So, I mean, that's the only one I'm gonna need now. I promise you those 50K. I'm gonna use that profit to even buy more funded accounts. But back to the $100 account. We're up $22. And if we look at the trades, obviously the last trade that I took, it's obviously GJ. Let it load up. GJ 411. no cap.
Yeah, ep41 was a bunch of.
And it was I only popped the 0.06 on this, right? Because I wanna this is what I wanted to do. Now I have $20 to risk instead of risking $9 or $10 per trade, because that's what I was doing before. I was only risking like $10 per trade. Therefore I had 10 chances to grow the account, but now I have a full $20 to risk. So now we're gonna go over today's trade, which was the GJ. And actually I didn't even mention it on the previous video, but obviously previous trade on October I lost 200 pips, and obviously these, like, literally, dude, I lost more than I gained the past 2 months. And in July I lost 20 pips, and in June I will gain 225, and then May was a great month, but I have been winning more than I've been losing. That's good. October I overtraded, as you can see. I definitely overtraded. And one thing that I noticed is, if you go back to this month over here, the one that I caught 500 pips, look how many trades I took compared to October. Way less, you see? And I caught more pips. So definitely, the less you trade, the more you're gonna catch pips. Freaking Fresh and Fit. Shout out Fresh and Fit, by the way, but let me lower the volume. And shout out Tim Grover. But this was today's trade. Right, let me go into the 5-minute or the 3-minute. I think the 5-minute should be good. So we have this, obviously the full meltdown, and then we started flipping back bullish. And then we have the double bottom here. But before the double bottom, no, obviously this could have still been bearish. So you need to. So right, this didn't indicate that it was bullish yet until this happened, right? This strong, obviously you have this high right here, and then you have this low right here, and then this low brings us up all the way up here, testing these previous highs. And obviously now this looking like a resistance to most retail traders, right? Or I mean in general, to everyone in the market. It's obviously looking like a supply zone, but the thing is, the more you test the zone, the weaker it gets, right? This first test, it was strong. It pushed us to the downside 30 pips. The second push, it pushes us down. It was even the strongest one, which was 60 pips. And then the third test, which was today, which was the break of structure push, it gave us 47 pips. So it's already showing weakness, not as much. If it was really strong, if it was really going to be a double top, and if it was really going to be a resistance zone, it would have melted right here. It wouldn't have respected this impulse within the range. Shout out Holt. Right, that's the guy that literally, that analogy, that the name for this move, it's just a break of structure zone. Literally, that's all it is. But I like to call it what I learned from Holt. You could search him up on Holt Vision YouTube or Visionary Profits, and literally his liquidity video is the one that's going to tell you this. But price broke the structure. Obviously had this strong ass low that has not been tested. Price comes back down, tested perfectly, and starts doing the bullish reaction to it. Right, you have to be right. Like if it's not started doing bullish reaction instantly, the trade is not valid. Don't even enter it. But we instantly had a 3-minute, 5-minute bullish engulfing candle, and I got in right before New York session open. And look at New York session open hit 6:30, boom, and then we hit TP1, which you obviously always hit TP1 on the first target, which is this high. We set it at 32 pips. I remember talking about it somewhere right here. If you could, yep, secure 32 pips and let the rest run risk free. That's what happened, and price shot up a little bit more, like 50 pips, I believe, or 60. Yep, 60 pips, and then came back down all the way to entry and took me out. And now this gave another opportunity to enter, but I totally missed it since I was already working here. I was 9:30 up. I was already, because in the morning I'm by myself, but at 9:30 my manager and my coworkers already pulled up. So yeah, about 9:30, 10. Yeah, and the good entry opportunity was right here, right after the bullish engulfing candle, 9:30. And now it came back all the way up. I would have been in profit right now, and I think it's gonna continue to push to the upside. So that's GJ. Let's go with GU. I missed a good ass trade. So look right here, price tested 130 right below it, right under it. Obviously had previous strong sell below. What happened again? strong sells again. But if we do the 5 minute, look at this. On the 5 minute, you can see it even crispy. So you have this, obviously price is still bullish. We have this high, and then what do we have here? We have this low right here testing this previous low here. And what does it do? It creates a lower high. But notice how this lower high breaks structure. You see how it broke this low, and it created a lower high. So that's already showing us. So just this already, this is very important, because what does it do? It's already showing bearish structure after we've been bullish, and we're also under a nice key level, which is 13,000. That's two confluences. Not only that, but what does price do after? It comes back, tests perfectly the supply, and look, then again comes back down and creates another what? A lower high perfectly. And obviously I missed this trade. I did not take this trade, but I marked it up right now so I could really show it and explain how I missed it. But if I would have been awake at, what was that, at 9? No way, it wasn't at 9. It was at 22, it was at 10:30, right before London session. It was this trade happened in New York session yesterday at Sunday. And obviously I missed it, I was asleep, and this trade would have literally hit TP1. Like I said, you always hit TP1 at the previous bottom, at the previous strong low or the previous strong high. This is the previous strong low, which was really only 8 pips. But you set your stop loss at break even, and you keep on holding, and look at this. Your stop loss at break even would have never came back to get hit if you would have had that good entry, bruh, and you would have caught a solid 42 pips. And obviously right now price is still bullish. We created this push to the upside, price respected it, we broke structure, and we respected the supply right here. Notice how this supply right here respected it here, but again it showed no strength, because if this was really a double bottom, double top que diga, it would have really melted all the way to the downside. But what did it do? It started creating a bullish uptrend. Look at this, beautiful bullish uptrend, came back, broke highs. Look, see, since it had already been tested, it had no reason to hold over here, so it just ran through highs, came back to test this previous supply right here, and we created a double bottom, a double top que diga. We broke structure again, and what previously was a strong supply came back to be created again, a strong supply again. And now this is strong, because look at prices right now creating this is what I wanted to show you right now. This is where we're at. We're creating a lot of liquidity right now. So I do believe price is going to come back to this zone, maybe even these highs, for us to continue back to the downside, or we might even clear to the downside to come back to the upside first. So we're definitely going to be watching GU for today for London session, most definitely. I mean, look at this high volume momentum zone right here that has not been taken out, this strong chunk. And now we're waiting for, now we're going for USD CAD. So actually look at this. So if we do clear, so this is the main lookout. I don't know if you guys saw this before, right? So we clear out highs to come clear lows. Why? Because look at this. We have this big ass what's it called? A gap, right? And if you look over here for USD CAD, it's the same thing, but you just reverse it. Obviously we clear the double bottom right here. No, I mean, we have more liquidity to clear, but for now we cleared everything. And right now we're also creating liquidity. Look at how price is going really slow, and we have a big gap over here and the top of the range. The high is high. Now what I've been looking at, if price can, obviously we have this break of structure right here, similar to what happened on GJ. Let's go on the 5 minute. Like you can see, you could even see it perfectly right here. You see the low, this low broke a structure right here. So what did it break? It broke this high and it broke this high. And right now we're obviously creating all of this liquidity. So what I think price might come do? It might come back to clear everything. Well, actually I already have it here, but it might come back to clear everything to touch this low, and boom. Obviously you still want to wait and see you want to wait for your 1 minute, your 3 minute, your 5 minute bullish candle somewhere right here. So then possibly enter somewhere right here. Possible stop loss would be right under this low. Your TP, I'd probably be targeting these highs first, and that's a solid 1-to-1, almost a 1-to-2. But then obviously the main target is over here, which now that makes it a 1-2-3. Obviously, this is where you TP1 and you set your stop loss at entry, and you just hold. You maybe secure 50%, 25%, 75% of your position, whatever you feel like securing, and then you let the rest run. And that was literally it. Now I'm just waiting for all of these. But I guess we'll go over them tomorrow. Peace and love to anybody watching this. Back to work.